Hey guys, welcome back. Today is Sunday, December 20th, and I'm finally going to give my full film review for Star Wars Episode 7. And this one is going to have spoilers in it because now that I've seen the movie twice, I find it impossible to talk about in detail without mentioning spoilers. And I've got a lot to talk about, so let's get started. First of all, story. Holy mackerel. Luke Skywalker is missing in the galaxy. In fact, those are the first words of the opening crawl. Luke Skywalker is missing, and that grabbed my attention immediately. The entire story is about finding Luke, and everything else is like a side story. The emotion in this sucker, it was like Revenge of the Sith, only without Episode 4. Han's death affected me way more than I thought it was going to. The way it happens is completely heartbreaking. It almost feels like losing a family member. I mean, this is somebody you grew up with. The acting was absolutely incredible. I think the old cast really got into their roles. Harrison Ford did come off as a bit cartoonish at times, but overall he inhabited Han again. He was totally Han Solo, completely Han Solo. And Carrie Fisher, I think, did an absolutely incredible job of doing Leia. Her voice is different, but she's still Leia. It's wonderful, and it's great to see her back. Mark Hamill, I'm sorry, I think he was woefully underused. If he had even one more minute of screen time, it would have been better. In one look, he conveyed so much. They say a picture's worth 1,000 words. Luke's look to Ray when he turns around with his hood off is worth 1,000,000 words. It's just incredible, and it did its job. I can't wait until Episode 8 to see what the heck happens. Does he take the lightsaber? Does he not? Does he train Rey? What happens next? The music was a little bit understated for Episode 7. It was more of a background character, but there are a couple of pieces that stand out. I can't think of the exact tune, but there was actually some piano work. Rey, when she's coming out of the Star Destroyer on Jakku, and she rides this sort of sand sled down to her speeder. It's really neat music there, and also the music, it's got almost an Irish lilt to it when they come to the planet with the islands where Luke is. The film style, there were a few distracting lens flares at the night scene in the beginning, but after that they were very, very understated. Overall, the movie was very watchable. There were a few quick jump cuts, but it was... Most of the cinematography, I would say 90% of it, was absolutely gorgeous. Within 2 viewings, I've gotten addicted to watching that movie just for the cinematography, let alone the characters. And speaking of characters, I am in love with the 3 new leads, Poe, Finn, and Rey. I just adore them, especially Poe. Poe ended up being my favorite. Not only is he pretty good looking, he's compassionate, he's skilled. He's not infallible, as we see. He does get captured. He's a people person. He really genuinely cares about people and likes people. As for Finn, I'm kind of on the fence about him. It's not that I dislike him, but he sounds like, I don't know, he sounds like John Boyega, but with an American accent. And that's what his dialogue sounds like. It sounds like John Boyega wrote his own lines. But it fits, so I can't complain too much about it. Rey, it was weird being older than at least a couple of the new leads, because instead of feeling like they were people I could aspire to or look up to, it was people I almost felt parental toward, if that makes any sense, especially Rey. She's, she can pretty much take care of herself physically, but emotionally, when you see the inside of her house, and there's a very, very telling moment. She's eating alone. She's got a little stuffed animal in a corner. You blink and you'll miss it, but it's there. But she's got a really, really good heart. She's got compassion. I like her. I really want to see where her journey takes her in Episode 8. Okay, my favorite character for Episode 7 is definitely... It's a toss-up between Poe and Maz Kanata. I love them both for different reasons. The funniest moment, there were surprisingly a lot of laughs in there. The one that I think made me laugh the hardest was when Finn was confiding in BB-8 and telling him, no, okay, the truth is, I'm not a resistance fighter. BB-8 goes, meow. And he's like, okay, just don't tell her, all right? Here, I just want to get away from the First Order, and I'll get you back to your master. Deal? And BB-8's like, and he gave BB-8 a thumbs up, and BB-8, flashed a lighter. That was great. And also, the banter between Han and Chewie was also hilarious, especially when they're on Starkiller Base, and it's freezing cold, and Chewie, and Han's like, oh, you're cold? That was great. The saddest moment, hands down, Han getting killed by his own son. It's going to take a while to get over that. The best overall moment in Episode 7, I haven't seen it enough times to pick out a favorite. I love seeing Han and Leia together again. I mean, they may be estranged, but you can tell they still love each other. The best acting in Episode 7, oh my gosh, I can't pick one because they were all amazing. Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher knocked it out of the park with what little they were given. Daisy Ridley was great. John Boyega is hilarious. I think the guy could be a comedian if he wanted to. He really could. With the voices he can do, and as funny as he is and witty, he could definitely be a comedian. And of course, Oscar Isaac is always amazing. He's an incredible actor, and I've totally believed him as Poe. Whenever I watch other movies now, I may be kind of disjointed thinking, okay, where's his X-Wing and where's BB-8? Because he may just possibly be inescapably Poe Dameron from now on. Best new track of music is the very end of the movie when they're hiking up to see Luke, and Luke turns around, takes his hood off, and sees Rey. That's the best track of music. The rest of it was kind of understated, but very, very pretty. This one-liner, it's really, really hard. It was probably Han turning to Chewie and going, oh, you're cold? It's freezing outside. Rey and Finn are trying to fix the Falcon, and Finn can't find the right part, and Rey's like, no, 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 no. The one I'm pointing to! That was great. Plot holes! Oh my goodness. I don't know about necessarily plot holes rather than not knowing what the heck has happened in the last 30 years, but that's what Star Wars does in the first act, is throw you cold turkey into a completely new world that you know almost nothing about, except via exposition. There were so many questions left unanswered at the end of Episode 7. Some of them really bug me. It's, who are Rey's parents? We don't know who they are. I'm pretty sure she's not a Solo, but there is still a possibility she could be Luke's daughter, which begs the question, why did he leave her behind when she was 5 years old? Poor girl. What made Kylo turn to the dark side? I know they said he was, seduced by Snoke, but why didn't Luke step in at that point? Why? I mean, at least with Anakin, I could actually understand why he turned to the dark side, because he was basically born into slavery. He had to leave his mother when he was very, very young. His mother died in his arms, but he lost everything, and he was under the influence of an evil guy. With Ben Solo, what the heck was his excuse? I mean, it looks like he was raised by loving parents. He had Luke for a teacher. How did Snoke even get to him in the first place? What the heck went wrong? The lightsaber. That is one of the biggest plot holes in... It fell down in Bespin, and how in the heck did Maz get the lightsaber in the first place? How did Rey use the Force so intuitively? Now, she's a Skywalker, and if she was trained a little bit as a youngster by Luke or by someone, then it would be a little bit believable, but she picked up the Force ridiculously quick. She did it very well in the film. It was fairly believable, but unbelievable at the same time. Like the mind trick on the stormtrooper, how did she learn how to do that? How did she know how to do telekinesis? It took Luke a couple of years before he was even able to, nudge a noodle or call his lightsaber into his hand. And how did she know how to use the lightsaber? I mean, I know she's good with the staff, but that is a completely different weapon than a sword. The only explanation I can come up with is she's a Skywalker, and that's it. What's Luke been doing all these years? I I don't want it to seem like he's been feeling sorry for himself. I can understand why he went into exile. It was sort of the same reason why Yoda went into exile. He was just kind of biding his time until the time was right. People are probably going to ask, why didn't he do anything? There's probably a very good reason behind it. Maybe I'm just letting Luke go too easily, but I don't want to condemn him too much, because the guy's gone through Musafar. Ray was hand in hand with somebody when she was abandoned. Who was it? It sounded like a real grouch. Why was she left with that clown? How did she get to be on her own? Did she run away? Did her caretaker die? I cannot believe that she'd been taking care of herself since she was 5 years old. Someone had to be taking care of her at least for a couple of years. Okay, things I didn't like. Hux, I could not stand. I hated the guy. At times it felt like he was overacting. Other times he was just such a snob. And still, with the distraction of Han dying and then finding Luke, I totally forget what happens to Kylo and Hux. I don't know if both of them die or what, but I honestly don't want to see them come back. Kylo, I have a feeling, is going to come back somehow, because his story arc isn't done yet. We've still got more to do on him. Hux, I don't want to see him again. I can't stand the guy. I'm sorry. I hate him. He's a snob. I don't know why. I just absolutely abhor Snoke. I don't want to see him again. He's just, ugh. And if they make him out to be Darth Plagueis, I'm going to strangle something. Sorry. Of course, my biggest disappointment in the whole film was Luke not having enough screen time. What can I say? I'm a Luke fangirl. Maybe I'm selfish, but just give him 10 more minutes. It wouldn't hurt the film. Okay. Final score for The Force Awakens. The acting is amazing. There were bits and pieces where it wasn't quite up to snuff, but I would give it 9 out of 10. The action was amazing. It was just as good as Revenge of the Sith, so it gets a 10 out of 10. Music was a little bit disappointing. I don't know about disappointing. It fit there so well, but to be honest, I couldn't hear so much of it because of all those darn loud sound effects. So I hate to do it, but it gets an 8 out of 10. The story was very good, so I would have to give it a 9 out of 10. Not perfect. The repeated bits are what keep it from being perfect. This may change in the future, but my current ranking for The Force Awakens is a solid 9 out of 10. It's not perfect, but it's very, very, very good. After only watching it twice, I want to watch it like 50 more times. That may change in the future, but for watchability, it's so watchable. Something you want to watch over and over and over and over and over and over at times infinity. And for me, that puts it right behind The Empire Strikes Back. Like I said, the ranking may change a little bit in the future, but at this point, it's a 9 out of 10. It's a wonderful movie. It fits into Star Wars. And I can't wait for Episode 8. Good job, JJ. That's all for today, and until next time, this is the Clumsy Jedi, signing off. Bye, guys.